Welcome to OCD Clarity. My name is Luc, and today we have arrived at step 12, falling back, morphing, and how long recovery takes. You should be proud of yourself for taking steps toward overcoming OCD. If you stay consistent, you will eventually start to feel better. This would be great news. You will experience small moments of peace and freedom again. And when you were stuck for years on end, this will feel very strange to feel a little bit more at ease. So, for years, in my own experience, I didn't feel any positive emotion for years, maybe 1 second. And the first time when you have a glimpse of peace, a glimpse of your new life, it may be overwhelming. And you maybe start crying because I didn't even know what peace felt. And it is very liberating. But there is also a thing to look out for. So, you probably can't believe feeling a little bit better and are scared of feeling bad again, wanting to hold on to these good moments. But as you know by now, that's part of the problem. You need to allow everything to happen, including the difficult, very low moments. Prepare yourself for setbacks, and a lot of them. And this is the honest story, guys. And especially in the beginning, you will have a lot of setbacks, but you need to push through and you need to follow this guide. And if you push through and allow everything, you will most certainly feel a lot better on the long run. But in the short run, you'll feel horrible. It is completely normal to experience relapses. You will most likely go through this many times. In the beginning, probably constantly. This might make you feel like you're doing something wrong, but that's an illusion. You can't just stop being afraid of something you've been terrified of for years. Changing patterns in your brain and reshaping your responses takes time. A relapse can also happen if you start avoiding again or engaging in small compulsions. This allows fear to creep back in and OCD will latch onto it. Because when there is fear, OCD will latch. But if you stay committed and get through the lows, your moments of freedom will most likely stay longer and be more frequent. But don't cling on to them. Allow everything. OCD tries to keep you trapped in the cycle. One way it does this by morphing into a different theme. This happens because OCD is essentially a hypersensitive safety system trying to protect you. Once you've become less afraid of your main OCD theme, it will often shift to something else that scares you or that you struggle to accept. And remember that OCD can latch onto everything, and I mean everything. I had OCD themes that were particularly around my work, and I don't know why. But now I know why, because I was very afraid of the worst case scenario. I would lose my job or would lose my money. And that was the reason why OCD was latching on to this. But um, OCD can latch onto everything, not only the known or the most typical themes. So that's something to realize. Um, if you see my video on YouTube where I share my OCD story, you will know that my first main theme was severe sensory motor breathing OCD. I thought that once I overcame that, I would be free. But nothing could be more further from the truth. After 3 years of obsessively noticing every breath, fearing I was breathing too fast, too slow, or would stop breathing altogether, and after working intensely on this theme, I finally experienced moments of relief. But OCD immediately latched onto something else: harm OCD and then health OCD. So when I became less scared of the sensory motor OCD, I had moments of relief, right? And I thought, okay, we're getting there. I'm getting my old life back. But then it latched onto harm and health OCD, and then onto relationship and OCD, and then onto I got a little bit of POCD. So that was my God. And then I was really depressed, and I was really, really feeling horrible. And I thought, at a certain point, I thought I can't recover from this. But you can. But you need to know how OCD works. So, ultimate goal is to be able to handle, accept, and endure everything OCD throws at you, no matter how intense, terrifying, or taboo it feels. The goal is to stop putting your life on hold, no matter how bad you feel. This is a huge part of getting better. What often happens when you try to get better from OCD is that you feel extremely confused at times. This is a natural part of getting better, and also almost everyone experiences it. On top of that, when a new OCD theme emerges, it can cause so much fear and panic that you don't even know where to start. This is one of the main reasons I created this action plan. Not just to provide the right information that actually works, but also to offer a guide, a companion to hold on to during this process and during this intense lows, and where you are so confused. You did everything right and you are still as stuck as ever before. It feels like this, and this is the trap of OCD. And that's the reason why I created this: that you have a guide that you can trust and see, oh, where am I and what is happening exactly? Oh, yeah, I need to take this path and allow everything and not go back to compulsions or avoidances. At many times, you will feel very lost, but you can always check in with yourself in a non compulsive way to see where you stand in your recovery. And remember, no matter what new OCD theme arises, OCD is still OCD. You might wonder, how long will it take for me to overcome OCD? There is no clear answer. It depends on many factors. However, the amount of time you've been stuck in OCD does not necessarily determine how long recovery will take. Some people progress faster than others. If you fully commit to the process, invest time, stop compulsions, push through your hardest exposures, and actively start living again, you give yourself the best chance of feeling better. Some people, like me, push and push, but it still takes longer than it does for others. It took me years, years. And also because I needed to figure it out, right? But um, and I didn't have that OCD Clarity Action Plan. It wasn't available. I couldn't even find someone who really recovered from sensory motor OCD and could give me some information about some serious information and a step-by-step guide how to do it. I couldn't find anyone, really. There is no guarantee that working hard will make you recover faster, but it does put you in the best possible position for success. In most cases, recovery takes longer than you think. Not weeks, not months, but 1 or 2 years to feel significantly better. If anyone promise you a quick fix, that's not how it works. In time, you'll realize this, especially if you're not improving or are still struggling with intense fear. So, what I see is that within six to 12 months, you can see improvement. But yeah, especially around the 12-month mark, you will have some moments of relief. But the one person more than the other. So it took me years to feel more at ease at certain situations, but I had glimpses of peace. So this is the honest story, guys, and see for yourself if you are, if anyone promised you a quick fix, see for yourself. Are you better? Are you for the most part, not experiencing any intrusive thoughts anymore, aren't scared anymore, aren't anxious anymore? That's good for you. But in the majority of people, almost 99% of the people, this won't work. You really need to give it up. As an example, you've probably already seen multiple specialists. Looking at my own experience, I was offered all kinds of different treatments. I went through standard cognitive behavioral therapy programs, which lasted about 6 weeks, after which the treatment ended and I was especially expected to be cured. I spoke to various coaches, tried hypnotherapy, went on a multi-week retreat in Switzerland, followed a Buddhism course, and was offered all kinds of different tests, EMDR, and medication. Each time, it was a disappointment. Of course, I was grateful for the help I received. And at certain moments, I felt a little bit better, but I never felt better more than a few hours. No more than a few hours. And sometimes I only felt better for 1 second. And I left the room hopeless. This is the honest truth. And you have to ask yourself, how can someone truly understand what OCD is and how it works if they have never experienced it themselves? This is especially true with OCD because um, the reason why this is true and how you can check it is because see YouTube, see the comments, see the hopelessness in these comments about people who can't believe they can get better. But you can. But because the most specialists don't understand the OCD, people aren't recovering. Let alone teach you how to recover. It's not like having a broken leg, where you put it in a cast and wait for it to heal. OCD is stubborn, and small nuances can make the difference between recovery and being stuck forever. OCD is stubborn, and small nuances can make the difference between recovery and being stuck forever. Let that sink in. Because if you're still doing a little avoidances, a little bit of self-reassurance, you're not you're not fully recovering of OCD. And but you need to know it, and someone needs to tell it how it works. That's the reason why I started OCD Clarity. So, last part. I'm not saying these treatments aren't helpful. Of course, they can be, but in most cases, overcoming OCD requires much more effort. If these therapies were highly effective, you would hear about many recovered people on forums, Facebook groups, and YouTube videos. But unfortunately, the opposite is true. Reddit is full of people who are still trapped, and this breaks my heart. They mostly talk about how bad they feel, compare their OCD with others, and discuss which combination of medication works best. But this isn't going to lead to get better from OCD. So this is the last step. In the next video, I will discuss some extra insights. Some small extra insights parts that I will read. And in the last video, we will do a form. I made a form how to understand your fears and how to work on your fears to get more to see what is the thing I'm really scared of, and is it really that scary, and how can I make peace with it, more peace with it, and is it really that bad? So we will make a video about that. Thank you very much for your time. Please give this a like, and thank you very much.